morning. As I stated on last week, a wise man always told me, if you preach on what is on everybody's mind, the lesson will stick. Right now, all the commercials are showing Cupid. All the commercials are showing jewelry, Kay and Jerry. But what I want us also to see is that no matter the advertising, we have to be careful of what we are looking at. Because the advertisement today, 75 to 80% of advertising, even though it may be talking about lotion, it may be talking about beer, it may be talking about a Hallmark card, but the propaganda that it uses to sell this is sex. You could be looking at a toothbrush commercial, and in the toothbrush commercial or the toothpaste commercial, before you go to bed, make sure you have fresh breath. Y'all ain't trying to hear me. I saw a commercial one time where two people were in the midst of kissing. And she jumps up and says, "Do you have protection?" And he ran to the store. And the store was closed. And then he looked in this car and the windows were all fogged up. And he knocks on the window and he asks them, "Can I borrow some protection?" And then the guy says, "Sure." Now in my mind I'm thinking, what in the world is going on? And he pulls out a pack of gum and hands it to him. But the whole commercial was set up behind sex. There's another commercial where it's talking about lubridermis skin. The crocodile gets out of bed and then there's a beautiful woman left in the bed, and I guess she don't like flaky, dry skin. So he goes to the bathroom and showers up and puts on this stuff, and then all of a sudden there is a handsome man who is fully shaved with no shirt on. The idea behind this is, see, why when we come to the church, we talk about sex, nobody wants to say the word sex. I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, "You're not Jesus." Because there was only one that made it here without.
Absolutely. No way.
I want us to understand this, that no matter where you go, sex is what's being sold. You can watch a beer commercial. I'm about to get to my title in just a second. And there could be a ugly girl in the corner. And every time he drank one, she gets cute. And then the next morning he realizes that he made a mistake. They were selling the beer, but they used sex to advertise. Makes me, here's the title of the lesson. What does it truly mean to be my Valentine? What does it truly mean to be my Valentine? Now you can remember back when you were in middle school or elementary, around this time of year, your parents had to go out and buy some Valentine cards and some candy to give to all of your classmates. But there was always one particular person that was special to you, and that's the only person that you wanted to give something to. You only wanted to fill out one card, and that was to Susie Jackie or Betty or, you know, I'm talking from me. I'm not going to say Johnny, okay? But if you were a woman, Johnny, Travis, Ray, or whatever his name was, that one special person got more than one piece of candy on their Valentine card. I saw something yesterday as I was at the wrestling tournament. Let me go ahead and apologize for my voice, because I did a lot of yelling yesterday in my voice. But I saw a married couple. Friends of mine were sitting there and they were playing the old "Do You Like Me" game. They had a piece of paper and he wrote on the piece of paper, "Do you like me? Check yes or no." And then way over to the right he put maybe. She checked maybe. "Do you want to be my girlfriend? Yes or no?" She checked we'll talk. And he showed me the card and he said, "Look at what she wrote." And I laughed because I remembered those days of pure innocence, of when you looked at somebody and said to them, "Do you want to be my Valentine?" But after a while, I had to go and look at the history of Valentine. I think some of us don't realize what Valentine's Day really represents. Now, I can't really say history, so I'm going to say legend has. Okay, y'all got that? So don't go back and say, oh, you said history. Legend has. That is really called Saint Valentine's. And over time, they have just dropped off the saint and made it Valentine's Day. And you see Cupid and all these cards, but what was really supposed to have happened was the Roman Emperor Claudius II, where he was trying to get men to volunteer for the army. And what he found out was men would rather get married and stay at home with their wives instead of signing up for the army. I don't know what made him think a man just going to willingly sign up to fight and die, but he was hoping that a man would sign up to fight in the army, but men rather chose to get married and stay at home. So he outlawed marriage. He made it where it was illegal to get married in his empire. But there was a certain saint named Valentine who continued to marry people even though it was outlawed. And in this, the legend even says that there were soldiers walking by as he was secretly marrying a couple, and he's whispering the vows to them, and they're whispering these vows to one another. And of course, legend has it is that he gets caught, and he's put in jail, and he's tried. Now here's the legend that kicks off. The jailer who is watching over him has a beautiful daughter. And his daughter comes to visit him, the jailer, not Valentine. But as she's there, she sees Valentine in jail. And while he's awaiting his day to be killed, he and the daughter become the best of friends. And the word has it is that on Valentine's Day, on February 14th, they took him out and killed him. And when the jailer came back into the cell to collect his belongings, he found there a letter addressed to his daughter entitled, "My Beloved." And whatever he wrote in the letter, he wrote it, but he signed it, "From your Valentine." That's supposed to be the very first Valentine card ever written in history. But I want us to understand that from what I see from Valentine, Valentine has all to do with marriage and not sex. So in Hebrews chapter 13 and verse number 4, the Hebrew writer says, marriage is honorable in all. Let's just stop here for a second because this has really two meanings. In the church, we sometimes argue Was my marriage valid before I became a Christian? Or did my marriage count? We talk about divorce, we talk about this. We want to know, was my marriage legal before I was in the sight of God? Or does it count now that I'm a Christian? And I'm going to let you know that the Bible says marriage is honorable in all. Regardless if you're a Jew, Gentile, or whatever. Even the United States, sometimes you can go to a certain country to get married, and when you come back, the United States will turn around and say, we don't honor that marriage. How can you turn around and say that you cannot honor somebody's marriage when they stood before God and confessed vows, and you want to say, we don't honor that? The Bible says marriage is honorable in all. He's also addressing another issue, that there are men that are refusing to get married because they think that sex is going to mess up and defile their marriage or their body. There are priests running around now, nuns running around now, people saying that they are supposed to stay to themselves and stay pure and stay away from sexual immorality. They miss the whole purpose of what marriage is meant to be. God didn't intend for man to be by himself. As Adam is there in the garden, and God created both male and female of the species, and he looks around and sees that Adam has nobody to be with him. God then says it is not good for man to be alone. God created a woman to be with man. We about to get in this one today because I got some stuff I'm about to throw out on y'all. Y'all don't trip today.